is it not working here? But I'm sure they're called. Maybe if I run far enough away and then come back, maybe that'll work. I bet Sin thinks I'm just running away. Just out. Peace out. Let's see if this works. Yay, that did it. Okay. Running away from your problems sometimes helps. But the stream is frozen. So I guess I didn't run far enough away from my problems. Alright, we'll try this again. I wonder if it matters which way I run. Since I know there's a screen up here from Sin, it actually I might be doing more harm going that way because maybe it picks up on Miguel's stream. So I'm gonna go this way. Oh, Sin says maybe I have to click on the screen. Let's do that. Let's run away. Go for a nice jog. The trees are blooming over here this time of year. It's beautiful. Actually, that's a really cute little spot right there. See if I can jump on every rock on the way back. Can't. The floor is lava. I can't touch the rocks. I can't touch the ground. Wait, no. I'm supposed to be teaching a class. I can't get distracted by floor is lava. Let's see. Did it work now? No, it didn't. Okay, why? Why is it not consistent? Oh, boy. All right, I'm going to troubleshoot this. But I'm also going to go live here, see if this works. Hey, Fitty.
Hey, you. Can you hear me?
I'm doing some troubleshooting to get the screen to work. So I'm going to be here. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, great. Go ahead.
Well, we're learning the basics of building when you're building with a screen, and that's basically like you gotta just keep trying to make it work.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm like talking to myself,
Yeah, it's fun.
running through the woods. I'm live on YouTube also, so to my like 7 followers. No, I have like a few more than that. There it is. Now it's working, but let's see. Oh yeah, it's good. Crisis averted. Oh, I didn't mean to pose. Look at that. Jeez, Canessa. Stop being a ham. All right, so it is 9 o'clock. I'm gonna let Sin know it worked. It worked. Now I can't. I'm not gonna leave ever because it works. So there's a little bit of lag. Yeah. So hopefully that'll work. And I guess we'll just wait for friends to come in.
Should I watch on YouTube?
I think this is good. Yeah, I think, yeah. There's probably a lag if you're watching. I'm putting it on YouTube so that it's just an easier way to record it so then I can come back later and I don't have to, my computer is full of stuff, so if I can just put it on YouTube and record it, it makes it easier.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, good. I'm glad. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, no, I could probably teach myself anything. I'm very smart, but there's a thing about just learning bad habits. Sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
I just don't want to start bad habits I have to unlearn later because I've done that
Yeah.
too. So it's just I would be just better for me
Well, I can't guarantee that I'm not going to
at the
teach you some
class.
bad habits. I probably have some
Oh
bad habits
no!
too. But I will
But
do my best.
well, when you've learned how to fix one, you have to pass it on to the rest of us. How about that?
Yeah. Well, like the builder, I mean, it's come a long way. When I first
Oh
started,
yeah. Oh
it
yeah.
was you couldn't do nearly as much. So
I
I think
turned
you
it
could
on
do a
and I'm
lot
like,
better.
eh.
What
I
was that?
looked at it. I looked at it years ago. I turned it on. I was like, yeah.
Yeah. Do you
So
have
much
it?
stuff I want to do that there's just not enough time in a day anymore.
I know.
I'm too ambitious. I'm too creative. Like it's
Yeah.
hard. What were you gonna ask me? Sorry.
Oh, do you have that Creator Hub downloaded?
Yeah, and then it had an update.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm all done and ready with that.
All right. I'm just gonna write a few things in here and then I will get started.
Whatever. If you want to wait, it's fun. I don't care. I'm free. I'm freed up.
Nice. I'm gonna just make sure that everybody kind of has, today's just gonna be real, probably loose and informal, and then
Fine.
make sure the screen works. Let's see. So if the screen doesn't, well, I guess if the screen doesn't work, you can't hear my verbal communication. So let me just write it in here. Okay. So, welcome everybody. I'm so glad that everybody is joining. Um, it's really cool just to see. Like, I'm looking around and there's a lot of new faces here, um, which is like amazing because that means you haven't tried to build yet, and like you're maybe gonna try, and this is awesome. So let's see. Hopefully, we got everybody. All right, I am going to change over. Oh, Sin it taught me how to do this, and I have to be really good because he's watching everything I'm doing with my my OBS. But I'm doing it my like the bad habit way that you said. So um, he's gonna be like, "Come on, I told you better." All right, so hopefully everybody should be able to see the creator screen. Um, Fitty, you're my guinea pig since you're here. Um,
Ma'am,
all right, so can you see? Are you in Decentraland? Are you able to see the screen?
but I'm not into Decentraland yet. I thought somehow I would see. I'll log in.
No, no, no,
Somehow.
you're good. You're good. I'm just gonna make sure that everybody can see the screen before I can get started. Oh, okay. It takes a little bit of leg.
I do
So,
need to watch. Do I need to watch somewhere? I
um,
do need to watch, right?
you don't have to, but like I personally would just because I'm a visual learner, so like if somebody tells me something, I'm not going to remember it, but if I'm watching it, then I do much better. And that's kind of there's a lot of different learning styles. There's other people that are teaching classes that are going to be really, good and like probably way more in depth. But for me, for this one, I'm going to be very much visual and not techie, no code, nothing like that. So I think that it's helpful to see that, but this is also recorded, so if you need to come back later and see it, you can also do that. Let me just see. I do have to apologize, you guys. Today, out of all the classes, it's just going to be like a little bit more tomfoolery just because it's the first time working at the screen and everything. All right. But I see the builder on the screen, so I think we can just get started and go from there. Okay. All right, so hopefully everybody sees the screen. There's a little bit of lag, so I'm sorry. There's like, I can't quite see what I'm doing.
Oui, chérie.
All right. So welcome. Thank you, everybody. I think we'll get started. People have filtered in. I'm Kanessa. I've been building in Decentraland since 2019. I found Decentraland in 2018. And in 2019, there was a contest for building in Decentraland, and you could win a piece of land. The top prize was 200,000 mana, which was kind of a, it was cool back then, but like much different deal when mana went up. So I was one of the winners in that. Just like there were 50 like runner-up winners. But that's how I got started in the builder. I don't have any technical like background coding skills. I'm a special education teacher by trade. So I like breaking things down to be more manageable. And I think I understand how the brain works, like, and especially when you're not a traditional learner. Like people, sometimes they're mathematically inclined. They can walk in, they can look at the code and it makes sense. So if you're that kind of person, man, I am so envious of you. I am not that kind of person. I am visual. So when I learn something, I want to see it. I want to get dirty with my hands. Like I don't want to read the instructions. I want to learn by doing. And so building in the Creator Hub is kind of like that. To get started in the Creator Hub, your first thing, you're going to have to download the Creator Hub. And so I did leave a little bit of instructions in the general chat of CBD. It's really easy. It's like if you can download Microsoft Word, you can download the Creator Hub. But if you do have any, if you get stuck on that, I do have a little tutorial there as well. You do need the Creator Hub to create anything. That's where we are right here on this screen. And it's going to show you the hammer up here. It's going to give you a lot of options. We're probably just going to stick with the ones that are going to be helpful for us today. I do have a few specific questions that people ask, so I'm going to make sure that I answer those. But otherwise, let's just like dive in and check it out as if you're a brand new creator. Maybe you have land, maybe you don't, maybe you have a world, maybe you don't. You don't need any of that to build. When I started building in 2019, it was like March, April, and you couldn't even walk into Decentraland until 2020. So none of this was like relevant. All you could do is look at it from, your preview. I think I built out like 140 scenes, never being able to walk into Decentraland. So don't feel bad if you don't have anywhere to put your scene. We'll figure that out in a little bit. Okay, so once you're in the Creator Hub, I'm going to start out with some advice. Number one advice, if you're a new person or you've been here a while, always make sure that you have updated to the latest version of Creator Hub. Like actually this morning when I logged in, I saw it said like update available, because I've had glitches where I've been in like Discord support with like Decentraland support being like, hey, this isn't working. I can't understand it. And finally, when we just updated the Creator Hub, that was the patch. So sometimes like if you do run into a glitch, they might have already fixed it, but if you're running the old Creator Hub version, then you're just gonna, it's like riding a old outdated car. So update your Ferrari, guys. Okay, so next let's hit new scene, and then this is going to give you a few options. There are templates. I'm not going to go into that today. There's just a few options for templates. They're really good. They're really awesome options. But we can kind of hit on that another day. What I want to do is just go into an empty scene, and you're going to have to name it right away. You can change this later, but you can't duplicate names. So sometimes I have to get creative and be like, okay, what haven't I used yet? So let's do builder. Let's see if I've used builder basics yet. I do think it's important to put a good name on here. One time I was just like having fun and I was like, I just needed to test something. And I did the name just me doing shit. And I deployed it and I didn't realize like I had a POI star at the time. So then when you looked at my POI, it said just me doing shit. So also present, present yourself professionally there. Don't just don't just do what I did. Because it was somebody found it uh, before like they had to point it out to me before I fixed it. It does. Oh, it takes a second to load. And guys, I'm sorry. While I'm doing this, I'm not seeing in-world chatter. So if there are questions, I will check the in-world chatter in a little bit. Okay, and here we go. The builder basics. This is the builder, and hopefully it's not intimidating. I think, it looks overwhelming, lots of different squares and different stuff like this. And so the first thing I like to do, because I'm very visual, these little these squares all over, they're kind of overwhelming. So the first thing I'm gonna do is figure out like what size scene am I gonna work with? Because right now I really, like a new user, I can't tell if one parcel of land is 4 of these little blocks or 4 of these medium blocks or all of this. Like it's a little bit, in my mind, like disorienting. So the first thing I'm going to do is go over to scene, and I'm going to go slow because I go slow. And then if people are following along, you can stop and pause and come back. So scene, layout, and then this is where you get to decide what is your layout. Like if you're just working with one parcel of land, you don't have to worry about this. But let's say you have 2 parcels of land connected into an estate, or maybe you have some kind of crazy configuration like an L shape. This is where you're going to have to tell the computer what you have. So for this one, I just have 1 parcel. So it already, tells me 1, 2, or sorry, like 1. If I did 2, then it would be side by side like this. Now, if I switch these, you'll see it changes it to vertical. This is really important. You have to tell the builder where your parcel is and what direction it is. I'm going to come back to that because that is extremely important. And maybe I have raged before because it used to be different, and now it's you can't rotate your scene. You have to build it the right way from the beginning. And so we're going to test that. I think it's a really good idea to test every single time. All right, so I'm going to apply layout, and that worked. It didn't give me like a real nice confirmation because I didn't have like I guess if I did if I did this, apply layout, like if I had 2, you'd see that change. If I did 3 and hit apply layout, it would change. So since I just have that, there's no like bells and whistles and fanfare. Okay, so now my brain is still a little lost. I still want to be like, where am I in the whole sea of pixels? So the first thing I do is I usually go to Genesis City and I grab this green grass and I put that down. I don't know why. It just makes me feel good and like I know where I live now. I've got this 1 parcel of land. So this is 16 meters by 16 meters. That's not super important right now to remember. When you get into Blender, you kind of have to remember how big a parcel of land is. It's just kind of nice to know. And then the next thing I'm going to do is figure out how high can I go, because it would be awesome to put a skyscraper here that just goes up like the Space Needle or something. But there are height limitations in Decentraland. They are not like exponential where like it's a funny curve. It's each parcel of land that you add to your estate makes it a different height, but it's not predictable. Like I'll post the like the act. There's an actual chart that tells you. I'll post that later. But to start building, what I like to do is grab something that's really obvious. And then like our sky is blue, so I'm gonna grab something red because red is a big, beautiful, opposing color to blue. And this is pretty much what I do every single time I build. I'm gonna build like this. I'm gonna grab it, and we'll go over the commands in just a second. But I think that like getting your workspace set up in a like a healthy way like this is just really a good habit to get started on. All right, so I have this little square, and it doesn't matter where I put it. But what I want to do is use this to test the very top of my scene. Now you can kind of see there's like a yellow outline on this, but watch if I keep going up. Actually, the yellow, it's kind of subtle. They changed it. It used to be red. Eventually, it's going to do something. There it is. All right. There. Here, here. Also, if you notice over here on the left, you'll see this little tab come up, and it tells you, it's a little like boop boop alarm. This entity is out of bounds and might not display correctly in world. So that is the height limit of your scene. It's also telling you right down here. You're going to get this message all the time. You just have to stay in the box. There you go. I'm in, I'm out. I'm also like really easily entertained. So right there. Now when I build, I kind of have like parameters. I know that my build has to be within this space. You know, some people they just start building and that's awesome. But especially if you're doing like a 2-story building, just kind of knowing where the height is, that's a challenge. I know there's mathematical people that are like, oh, I would just clearly like put that into, you know, some kind of equation. No, I'm not that person. I'm just going to use a peach floor and that's going to tell me how high to go. Okay. So next thing I want to do is make sure that my scene is pointed the right direction. This is actually something that I don't I don't usually do because I don't know. I guess I just I still like pain and agony. But I've realized that if I'm teaching other people to do it, I can save people a lot of time. So what I'm going to do is get an asset from the builder that has a direction, like a clear forward and back direction. For this one, I'm going to get a pirate ship because it's got a bow and a stern. It doesn't matter what it is, but I'm just going to put something on this scene so that when I deploy it, I can see which way my scene is going in world. I know this sounds ridiculously simple, but even as recently as Art Week, I had a friend who's been in Decentraland for years, and they built their scene. It was amazing. And then I was like, hey, can we just rotate it 45 degrees? And there is no way to rotate it without rebuilding the entire scene. So if I was going to go work in this scene, I'm just going to quickly like deploy this, publish it to my scene in world just to get an idea of where it is. So like, let's say that the ocean is over here on the left and I want my door to be facing the ocean. Then when it's on the scene, it should be facing the left. Let's see. Not sure if I can do it really quickly during this. I'll just do it really quickly. I'll put it right here and we're just going to come back to that. It's a lifesaver, even though it seems like, okay, it's kind of ridiculous just to throw a pirate ship on there, but it is a lifesaver. We're going to go over publishing a lot more just real quick. When you publish, another good thing to remember is it takes 15 minutes to a half hour for your scene to show up. So it used to be instantaneous, but performance-wise, this is, I guess, optimized. So a lot of people that are used to building in Decentraland are used to going, putting your scene there, jumping in world, and boom, your scene is there. So for a lot of us, it was like it was traumatic to go there and our scene doesn't show up. Let's see, make sure that this message shows up. So you do get some, warnings, just let you know that it's going to take you a little while to get there. All right, I'm going to assume that this is going to work. That is just more like a hack to show you guys. Like you can learn how to check with your own. Maybe I don't know, maybe you have a different way to do it, but that's just kind of the way that I do it. So I'm going to delete. Oh, go ahead, Fiddy.
So the map in Decentraland has north, south, east, and west on
Yeah.
it. The builder does not have north, south, east, and west included. Is that what you're saying?
You
You
know,
have to find out.
that's a good
You have
question.
to
I
find out
think,
yourself.
well, and let's
Or
see.
there's a way to do it, but you don't know the secret
I
to
think
know
it's
which way north is.
it's actually just like north is that way, south
I,
is towards
I
me.
play this game where you always spawn in facing north. So if you
Yeah.
don't turn, you can start navigating right from if you know
Yeah.
the secret. If you're
I
facing north when you log in. Okay.
I think the
So
problem is when you're using like a symmetrical so I changed the scene right now to be two parcels. So it's real obvious. Like if this is a horizontal grid, it's
yeah.
real obvious where north and south is. It's when if I'm doing like a 2x2 or a 4x4 that I just think like I've just gotten like not disoriented, but just kind of like in the old builder, it did not matter. So I would just start moving fast, put a doorway in, put my walls in because it didn't matter. I could just rotate it later. And so now, and that I guess that's like one of those bad habits that we talked about.
No,
Like, now I
no, it's
actually really have to like think, okay, where is this going? And I still do it all the time. Like if I'm just deploying a single parcel,
yeah.
I'm like, okay, gotta go back.
No, you've done really well. You figured out a solution. So
And sometimes it also is like maybe you don't know where the door on the property is going to be, or like you don't know how you want people to approach it. There's going to be the default spawn point, but maybe you want it like, the entire build is going to have a different aesthetic. I mean, you add one asset to your build, it's going to change the entire aesthetic, the vibe. So I think like getting it set up right away is so important. And sometimes I don't even want to start on a project because I'm like, like, what if I start it and I do it wrong? Like I ruin that vibe. So I just think like, um, there's a few like pearls of advice that I would say. Um, and one is like just test it out, and then I would I always tell myself test early, test often, because if you don't, like, you'll have a beautiful build, but something might not work on it. It might be like, oh, I built my build and it's 45-degree angle, like it's not going the right way, or oh my gosh, like this this is too high, or this is too, like these stairs look horrible. I think you really have to walk in it in world. And there is a preview tool here that allows you to look at your build without deploying it to world. But I really think there's just differences in that preview that you don't see, or that like I've found little ways that preview shows you what you want to see, and then it looks different in world. Like um I had pictures for an art. It was a party, and I had hung all of my friends' artwork on the wall, and I wanted it to be a surprise. So I didn't test it in world because, gosh, I don't want anyone to see it. I was testing it in the preview. Well, I deployed like 15 minutes before my party. Not a good idea. And then the pictures of all the artwork looked horrible in world, and I know what I did to I know it was my fault. I didn't know at the time what to do, but I did fix it. But if I would have been testing it in world, I could have seen, oh, the like I'm stretching the image in Blender, and therefore the quality just is, bad, and I need to fix that. So I think there's a lot of ways to test it before you show it to anybody. Like if you want to keep it secret, I could have been deploying it to a world. But anymore, I throw it in Decentraland quite often, just to see how it really looks, because like it just feels like that's the most accurate way to do
And
it.
and what way it's facing. Then you'll see what way you're facing.
Yeah, you'll
When
see where you're facing, because even if you have a like if you have a image or like you I mean every artist, every builder, they have the vision. Like it is it like if it's a club or if it's an art gallery, you've got an idea of what it's going to look like. But by the time you get it in world, that vision is going to change. There like one time I put something in and there's like a tree right in front of it. And so I'm like, well, that's not going to work. Like I didn't think about where the tree was. Or, you put it in and you've got neighbors and all of a sudden your neighbor puts a big building. So I think just like testing it, just deploying it a lot, maybe not too much. I don't sometimes if you deploy a bunch of scenes really fast, like if you deployed it and then you're like, oh, that was a mistake, I got to redeploy it. Sometimes I think, there can be like glitches that come along from that. But yeah, test early, test often. That would be my light my nugget of advice. If you only learn one thing today, that would be it. Um, okay, let's get something on this scene. I think everybody, like everybody, humans want shelter, right? If you dropped us on Survivor and we had the last 30 days, the first thing we're going to do is make shelter. So I think in our scene, the first thing we're going to do is make some kind of shelter. And I'm going to drop in, there's different asset packs down here that have different themes. There's cyberpunk, fantasy, Genesis City, Halloween, pirates. So you don't have to come in like knowing, like with a bunch of really cool assets. Like I personally think there are really cool assets in all of these kits. And actually like the biggest challenge is using them in different ways. I once made an airship, and I didn't have a propeller for the airship, so I just took 5 knives, tiny little knives, and I like blew them up giant and made a propeller. And so I kind of like that challenge. Okay, so we have a floor down here. When you want to grab something, you just left mouse key, grab it, pull it into your scene, and that's going to drop it right there. And then when you have this, and you click on it, you're going to see it highlighted. Okay, there we go. It's not unhighlighting. I guess maybe because I have 2, or because I only have one thing on my scene. So you're going to see the yellow line around it, and that's how you know what you're clicking on. When Decentraland first started, it was a little harder to see stuff, especially if it's small. I'm going to grab a really tiny asset. Let's put like a hammer over here. So if you have a giant scene, you might lose that little hammer. It might even be like you might be placing something. It might be over here out of bounds, and you're trying to deploy, and you can't see why you're getting this message. And that's where this panel on the left comes in handy. This is an addition to the Creator Hub. This was not in the old builder. Anybody that built in the old builder who had something like accidentally out of bounds, you'll know how important this is, because you could just look down. If I had a long list, you could just look and be like, oh, okay, whatever this is, it's out of bounds. And then I can just click on it and it selects it and I can just move it in. Or if I want to get rid of it, I can just stay clicked on it or highlighted. Right click brings up a bunch of options, and then just hit delete. So getting the muscle memory also of moving around, I'll go over that in just a second. But your assets, I think that's like a really important part. Also, if you are like, wait, I needed that hammer and it just went away and it was like a perfect size, I can just hit Control Z and it comes back. It's just like any other, kind of computer program. Control Z undoes what you did. Okay, so there we go. We've got 2 things on our scenes, and they're called assets. I probably call them things, but the correct term is assets. So in order to move them, left or right, you have these little commands up here, and this little one is just to move it around left or right. Doesn't do anything to change the size. There you go. You can see I'm out of bounds. So I think that's about as close as I can get. And then if I want this to be larger and I want this to cover quite a bit of area, I can come over to this one, the scaling tool, and now you'll see some other little lines come up, the red and the green. I'm not gonna make it too thick, so I'm gonna do that, undo, and I can see that like as I'm pulling it, it's kind of stretching and from this angle. So I'm gonna move it all the way to the end. Go back into the scaling tool, and I'm going to try to make this cover, quite a bit of area because this is just going to be my floor. I think it's kind of a cool, I don't know, like a hexagon honeycomb shape. So that's a floor. That's an awesome floor, but now we need walls. So I could go back down and find this asset. Let's see, gallery. I could go in here, find the same one. But if you're placing a lot of assets on the scene, that's time consuming and there's just an easier way to do it. Make sure that you're highlighted on it because if I'm highlighted on the hammer, it's going to duplicate this and I'm going to have two hammers. So make sure that you're on the asset that you want two of. And then you're going to hit Control. That's how you did it. Control D. Oh my gosh. So this is where it's like, it's so natural, you don't even think about it. Control D for duplicate, and that's going to create another one. And then you can see, this is what I mean about like learning like the builder basics. After you've done this for a while, you're talking about duplicating, and I already started rotating it, and I didn't want to do that. So I want to move slow. So Control D duplicates it, and I can't see that there's any change, right? Except over here on the left, I have floor hexagon, and then I have floor hexagon 2. And so it's telling me I have 2 here. And so then not automatically, I think I clicked on it. It's going to bring you to this rotate tool, and you can see it's kind of like a little gyrosphere. One thing I hate, and it's been this way forever, it doesn't change size. It doesn't matter if you're zoomed in or zoomed out. So sometimes you're like, I wish it was bigger. Okay, so this is going to allow you to like barn raise, like lift up the wall super fast, which is awesome. It's out of bounds. I think I just probably have to move it like one little scooch. There we go. So it doesn't want to let me get too much closer. And like, especially when you're on a one piece, you're going to try to use up all of that space. You're not, like it's real estate it's like real estate in Manhattan. Don't give away any space for free. You want it real close, like right up to the edge. So if I just grab this and move it, you can see it's kind of moving in chops. Like it's moving from here to here to here to here. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. But if I need to make tiny little changes, I can hit the shift key and hold the shift key down. And there we go. So now I'm close. There we go. Holding the shift as you're doing the command lets you make those really tiny little fine-tuned changes. So that's really important, especially as you get into like the tedious placement work. Sometimes these big parts, it's not as important because you're like, it's good. But if you're doing something like setting a hammer on the table, you're either going to have it's either going to be on the table or not. So it's got to be really like precise. Okay, let's put a roof. To get that again, we do Control D, and then I'm going to grab this so you can see I've got floor hexagon 3. And I'm going to lift it up. And I didn't speak about like what commands I'm doing with the mouse. I did it in the little like intro video. I would suggest if anybody's new and they want to get started, that video is another good one just to show you what keys on the mouse that I'm using and then what keys on the keyboard. Um, it is really helpful to have a mouse with a middle scroll wheel because that moves you in and out. And then you also have to, like, if you hit shift and right key, that lets you like move your scene around. And then WASD. So if I think the only way to get like past that intro stage is just get in and start building. You have to build the muscle memory. And don't worry, as soon as you go to Blender, you get to relearn it all because it's different in Blender. And so sometimes I go to Blender and I'm like nothing's happening. And then I realize, okay, like it just takes, I don't know, like a minute to shift into gear. And then as soon as I come back to Creator Hub, I got to do the same thing. Let's see. All right, so I've got a roof. I've got a floor. Let's see. Fitty, could you mute your mic? I think I hear a little bit of background noise. Sorry. All right, I'm gonna do Control
Oh my
D.
god.
Control D. Thank you. I'm gonna do a wall. Rotate. This is where it's kind of fun. Like as long as you get everything working, this is like easy, and you just feel like you're a really good builder. You're like, yeah, man, I'm gonna build a club. All right. When you have like, I mean, this is such an easy square shape. It's so easy to make stuff work good. Um, I do want to show what the middle of this scaling tool does, but it's gonna like ruin my build. So I'll wait for a second. Okay, so we got a wall, and I could duplicate the floor, make it, scale it to size, but it's just easier just to duplicate the other wall, move it over here, and boom. Um, you got like literally you got a club. I mean, all you need is a screen in there, and somebody could start playing. You could have an art gallery. It doesn't take much just to get you, kind of a little space to work with. Um, Obviously, the more complex it is, the more people are going to be like, yeah, this is cool. So I do think we have to make it a little bit cooler than it is. Um, these are just floor panels, which you have to build your own shape with this. But in the asset packs, there are some actually like really cool, kind of pre-made pieces that if you want to just, if you need to fill up space fast, they're pretty good at that. Let's see. So in the cyberpunk build, there's like a sushi house and a bunch of stuff, but this one is the coffee house. Um, so it's just a square, but it's like it's kind of perfect for an art gallery or something like that. And I'm imagining this could be like the basement of the club. Let's say we're making a metaverse club and we want to have a basement in here. So I'm just gonna scale it a little bit because wouldn't it be cool if you had like NFT art that, like Fitty, you're a DJ, like you could have people coming to your DJ session, but maybe there's some artwork down below that they could check out before they come. So I'm gonna get that guy scooched in there. I actually want two of them. So I feel like if I duplicated him, he's gonna be um, wrong size. Yep, I gotta fit two. So like if you make something and you're like, okay, I want two of them to fit here, and I could scale them both separately, but it would just be a lot quicker to scale one to half the size of the parcel. So I really want this one to like get out of here. Um, Control X. No, Control X. Why is that not doing it? Ah, that's a Blender command. Sorry, I knew I was gonna do that. Okay. So come over here and click on the asset you want gone, and then delete. Because then it's gonna be way easier if I just scale this to half. And like I said, I am not mathematical. I am I am not. My family, we're engineers and artists. My brother he's an aviation inspector, so he inspects the parts that goes on the planes. And I was like, I told him once, you probably have to get your specs to like really fine specs, like 1/16 of an inch. And he just looked at me. He's like, we're like 1/1000th of an inch. And I just was like, oh man, okay. I know where I belong. I belong over here in the artist colony, not checking aviation equipment. So if I'm trying to eyeball this and trying to get it to be half, there's actually I can't I do know some measurements. Also, we're American, so like we have inches, not metric, and they don't really make sense. But the grid on the floor of the build is actually a really good tool to use. So if I pull this over to be lined up, on this side, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 chunks. I've got 8 on this side. You guys know the math. It's gonna work. And then I'm gonna probably push it back until I see that yellow. There we go. All right. Now, Control D to duplicate. Move this guy over here. There's probably like an alley in between them, maybe. I'll probably make them like real flush. Okay, so that's like the bottom of the club, whatever this club is. But now the club is here and the houses are here. So we have to give this like a facelift. We have to move everything up. We still have quite a bit of room to work. So if I want to move everything at once, I could have just started building. I didn't, just so that I could show you this, but if we want to do barn raising, I'm going to click on the asset that I want to move, and then I'm going to hold down the shift key. Don't let go. Just keep holding the shift key. Touch whatever object, click on whatever object you want while you're holding shift. And now I have all 5 of these highlighted. This is also a really important tool so that you can move your stuff around. But like you don't want to move everything, just these. Yeah, and then just move it up. Here we go. And I'm going to use that. Hold down the shift as I'm moving it, make sure it like sits. And there we go. We got a club and an art gallery, ladies and gents. Oh, I can see something weird right there. So I think that that's happening because I need to go up just a smidge. So I'm going to click, hold the shift down, click, 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 move it up. All right. And now that I moved it up, I'm not getting that little flicker, which told me that it was just too close to this one down below. They were overlapping. I also noticed over here on the left, as I was doing that, I do have this little entity thing. So I know that floor, hexagon 4, this is so nice, you guys. Like literally in the past, it just wouldn't deploy. It'd be like something's out of bounds. And it'd be like, you get to find out what it is. This is just so easy because it just takes like one little change and then you're good to go. So I know that's going to fit in Decentraland because I haven't hit my height limit at the end, or like even right now. I could just delete that because for the sake of the build today, I'm not going to go higher. But if I was like, oh, we need a pool party, then I could keep it up there. Yeah, so that's our club. Put some art inside. Okay, it looked like I was outside of my bounds, but no, it's good. But first we got to get up into it. So if I want an asset, and if you're familiar with these asset packs, you probably know what is in them. They haven't changed them much, actually, in a very long time. Like the year of the pig was 2019 when they released that. They haven't done a new animal. And then I think Cyberpunk, Steampunk were more recent additions. But if you don't really know what's in them and you're like, okay, I need stairs to go to my club, you can search right here. And it's a good way just to find stuff if you're not sure, or even if you're like, I know the stairs, but I don't know if they're in the Cyberpunk pack, if they're in the Pirates, if it's Genesis City. Like Cyberpunk and sci-fi are kind of similar, so sometimes I'm like, which like futuristic one was that in? All right, so I'm gonna find like metal stairs, and I'm just gonna drag them as close as I can to my scene. And there, so you can see it's Stairway to Heaven. So you've got to go over to the rotate tab, and it's pretty, I mean, compared to other programs, this is pretty easy just to do the drag and drop. Um, okay, there's a gap. How do we make it? We need more stairs, guys. All right, so let's look. These two match, and I like them to match. So I'm gonna get that set, put it in there. As you're building, you're always gonna be moving your screen around a ton because like my background is not in 3D. I'm a 2D artist. And so back when I used to build, I'd be like, "Oh yeah, look at that. Like it's great. It's totally fine." And then I'd be like, "Here. It it matches. Like it's got to match because I can see it matches." And then I'd turn to the side and be like, "Oh, okay." So that's something to keep in mind. You're going to be constantly moving. Like always just move so that you can get the view. Even today I'll be like, placing something, and then later I'm like, wait, I you know could have saved so much time and energy. This is actually not the way I wanted to do it. Okay, I think I'm gonna give I had a better idea, so I'm gonna delete those, and I'm going to give my whole house. No, I'm just going to do that. I'm going to make these come down to that size. So if I want to resize all of this together, the shift key to to grab them all, and then I'm going to resize them. Did it not? Oh, it did something funky. Sometimes it does that. Like if you're resizing it, it brings it back to its like origin point. So, um, all right, so that's almost there. I'm going to do it one more time, get these guys a little bit lower. The nice thing about these assets is you can just change them to be different heights. I know that sounds simple, but the very first builder tool did not have the scale tool. So everybody, like, there's a certain area of the map, like District X, that a lot of the old builds from 2019 got deployed. And so you can go, actually, it's like really good historical assignment to go through there and look at those old builds because like, they're built a specific way um, because that was the only way to do it. And that was one of the things, like just, you couldn't resize stuff. So you have to use other things to get you what you want to have. Okay, so, oh, one thing I want to mention about that too is um, so we're learning how to build today, but I think it's really important to talk about why we're building the way we do. And one thing I haven't mentioned, and it's awesome I haven't had to mention it yet, because if the Creator Hub had been, if Decentraland was different right now, it would have been the first thing I mentioned, and it's the evil word called triangles. Um, like I'm traumatized by the word triangles. And you can see I have this warning. Your scene contains too many triangles. Um, I'm a rule follower, so the first time I saw this, I was like, "Woe is me! I cannot deploy." And then all of my wonderful Decentraland friends are like, just ignore that. Just deploy anyway." I'm like, "But the rules, like, I can't go past this." So, triangles, to explain it, everything here is like really flat, so it's kind of harder to explain, but I'll try to zoom in on the hammer. So like a triangle, like I would say it's like vertices. Like the real quick explanation is the amount of different shapes on an object. So like this hammer right here, well, you can see how many triangles it has if let's see, so 21 to 50. If I delete the hammer, now I have delete 21 to 50. Now I have 2446. So you can see I lost some triangles by getting rid of that. These stairs are super triangle heavy. So if I delete those, oh, actually, no, not as heavy as I thought. Usually like curved items. So circles, like there are rocks in the Decentraland build. Back in 2019, I was building a pirate scene, and I actually made an Excel spreadsheet of like 100 different items to compare the rocks. So like there were like two rocks that had crazy amount of triangles compared to everything else. Um, so right now in Decentraland, they're allowing us to deploy even if we're over these scenes. So you can see this scene that is like simple. Like, I mean, I think it's cool, but I don't think anybody's gonna like get in a line to come to my club because it's so simple, and it's already twice as much as required. So if they kept those triangle limitations, I could not deploy this. I would have to cut half of this out, which is insane to me. And that's why people that are worried about triangles are like so traumatized by it. You can avoid that by deploying through the SDK, the software design kit, like the if you're coding, it is not drag and drop. You actually have to understand some code. So there are ways around it, like before they allowed this relaxing of the triangles. And I think the same goes for all of these. You can bypass them. That's an absolute game changer for Decentraland. Without that, um, it it was extremely difficult to make something cool on a one piece parcel. Each parcel of land has 10,000 triangles. So then if this was a two-piece parcel, I'd get 20. So I could deploy this on a two-piece parcel. So thank you, Decentraland devs. If you're watching, that is amazing. I still think it's really important for builders to build really carefully with triangles. Like, I mean, I could just be I could just be crazy and be like throw in some trees in here. There's like some cool trees in it's taking a long time to load. Um, I could throw a bunch of stuff on the scene and just like max it. I don't think it's taking for a second, so I'll just throw that on there. Um, but if they ever change it back or if they ever tighten those restrictions, then I'm gonna have to relearn how to build efficiently. Like I don't in my head I think about budgeting, like you budget your your household bills. I have to budget my triangles. Um, so I'm still probably always going to be really, really careful about like using something just a little bit lower on the triangles if I can help it. Okay, but we want to get to our club. I want a door. The gallery asset pack is really good for like this kind of raw building. If you're just building something, because it has all these different cool assets that you can add. And I think just like really play around with them because this one's a really good example. Like it's a cool door frame, whatever. It's kind of cool. But when you change the scale, it actually like gets really way cooler. Let me get it over here. So like I'm imagining this club. I kind of want it elevated because I don't know, just I think it looks cooler and feels cooler. Like if it's a club you have to walk up to. All right, so I got my doorway, and you can see. So actually, if I want to look at the details, sometimes if I'm clicked on it, highlighting it, I can't see the details as well. So I'm just going to click somewhere else on my scene. I'm not sure if you can see it, but there's these acoustic panels that are kind of cool. And on this asset, I found out that if I scale it, like stretch it out to make a hallway, these acoustic panels suddenly become like, welcome, you just got to the edgiest club in Decentraland. You're probably going to get cut coming into my club or leaving because that's how cool this club is. So like I think it's awesome that an asset that was kind of, like it's a doorway. It's nothing to get excited about. You stretch it a little bit and suddenly it's kind of cool. So let's put it right about there. I don't want any elderly folk like myself to fall getting into the club. We're gonna have a lawsuit. So I'm gonna make sure I really don't want there to be a gap because the avatar if I left it here, like this gap, the avatar would get to that and you can't just walk up. You could hit spacebar and jump, but I think like you don't want it to be hard to get to your club. People have done that before. Like if there's just one little thing that makes it difficult to get to your club, especially for new users that are like learning the commands, it's just you just want to make it really accessible, I think, for everybody. All right. So, oops, I'm still connecting to my stairs. I'm going to undo that. Stretch this one out a little bit more. Make it line up really nice. All right. So now my avatars, they'll come in. They'll come in through the club, through the door. And I want to add a picture because this is one of the questions that somebody specifically had is how do I get a picture? In the past, you had to have an NFT to work in an NFT frame, or you can do it through Blender. Both are kind of good options. But in the Decentraland, in the asset packs, let's see, I could search it like this, but actually I'm just going to show you. Any asset that's kind of, well, it's called smart items, but any asset that kind of does something a little bit more than just a wall or a tree, like a static object, they're going to be in the smart items area. There's a lot of, I mean, this is kind of where you find the cool stuff. These are interactive. If they have a little lightning bolt by them, then something happens when you go up to it. So check out everything in the smart items. There's a little bit more that you have to do to activate those, and I'm not going to be doing that today just because I'm going to keep things really simple. But down here at the bottom is the image. And so I'm going to grab that. Actually, I kind of like to see where I'm throwing stuff because, yeah, I guess I'm just still traumatized of like literally used to put something in your scene and you wouldn't, if it was small, you wouldn't be able to see it again and you wouldn't be able to grab it. So then, yeah, I would spend a lot of time like looking, trying to find little things in my scene. So I don't want to do that. Okay, so there's my image. I'm going to add, this is the cool part, like it's actually way easier than I have ever seen it to add something. So I'm gonna go into my pictures. Let's see, let's grab, all right, I'm gonna grab just like the first picture that comes up. And this is Ruston, me, I can't tell who else. This is from 2021, one of the first parties we were at. Yeah, so awesome. This is the aquarium. So this is like a really, really good picture. Really cool. And there you go. Like that, I know it just seems like a simple picture, but for anybody that's built here, you're like, it's so easy. It used to be so hard. So this is a good time to show you. I said earlier how like if I'm resizing something, I can, grab this like the XY axis. I can stretch it this way, or I can stretch it up. And a picture is a really good thing to experiment because you're going to be able to see if you did it right. Like if we make Ruston, sorry. But I guess if I make Ruston look like that, I'm also stretched out. So I don't want to do that. I want to get it like, proportional. It might be kind of a stretched picture. So like that. But if I wanted it to be, bigger on the wall, and I don't want to do those tedious little actions, and see again, these, the green, blue, red, and white, they don't get larger if I zoom in or out. So sometimes it's a little hard to grab this middle piece, this little white piece, but I want to grab that. And then that is going to scale it all at the same time. So as long as I already have like the scale the way I think it should be, this is way easier than trying to get something perfect. Like, making it like these tiny little adjustments. Some things are fine. Like a little tree, it's not, nobody's going to be like, wow, your tree grew one way a little bit more. That must be the east. That must be where it got the sun. Like, but on little things, it's absolutely going to make a difference. Now, actually, I want it smaller because it looks like we're just owning this globe, and it's just I don't want to be that. Like, just let's just put a tiny picture on the wall. Yeah, so that was one of the questions, and I hope that there we go. Hope that is helpful. Oh, okay, so you can kind of see how the back of it maybe is really close to this flooring. So I'm gonna push it out a little bit. All right. That was one of the specific questions, and then also a question about adding links. So, like, let's say this is not a real club, but let's pretend it is, and I want people to join my Discord so that you guys can stay connected. And like every time we have a party, I want you to, get on the trivia on the Discord or anything like that. So in the smart items section, there's all of these buttons that are, I mean, it's awesome because they're already set up to show you like YouTube, Discord, GitHub, Instagram, Reddit, Telegram, Twitter, WeChat. And there's two different designs. There's a button that goes on the wall and then like a triangle one. So if you want a Discord link, you can just bring that in. Actually, I don't know. Should I do the triangle one or the other one? I'll just do the triangle one. So I don't know where. I probably wouldn't put it down here if this is a real club, but let's just put it here. And then on that, I have to give you, directions. It'll automatically tell you, where to go, discord.com. But that will only just take you to Discord. You need to have the actual link. And so the person asking about this, I wonder if I'm thinking maybe just make sure that the link that you use is actually like a Discord invite link. I know, I don't know, like lately, yeah, like when I've shared links, they don't actually take you to where, like the invitation where you want to be. So that's something that I think also maybe is just like a Discord quirk. So for this one, oh, here, okay, this part is kind of frustrating. When we're adding stuff on all of these, like the smart items, there's a lot of other areas where you can add something for like your admin key. You can't copy and paste in here. It I'm guessing that they're going to change it in the future, but for now, it's you have to do it the old-fashioned way. So I just minimized my screen. It'll probably look funky just so I can see the actual link. So you got to do it the old way. Let's see. HTTPS Discord CBDCL. Okay. That is super frustrating when you have to write an entire ETH address in here, but it is what it is. Now that I put it in, I like personally, I kind of like wish I could click a button and be like, boom, confirmation, it works. And there is no like boom button on this. You just literally like go back to building. And then you can test it by clicking on your Discord link, looking, and it's still there. Yeah, I don't know. That's just more like a user interface thing that maybe they'll add in the future. Because I think everybody, I think we humans, we love that little like, oh, you did it, congratulations. Okay, so let's see. I probably will wrap this up soon, just because I think that that's probably a good amount for today. Obviously, I could talk for hours and build for hours, but I want to respect everybody's time, and probably I would just put a piece of glass. I think that the glass asset in here is really cool. It shows up as a solid, like a solid tile. Just gonna move it over here. But in world, it's a piece of glass you can see through, which is really cool. I don't know, call me crazy, but then I'll feel like my build is complete. If I don't have a piece of glass, I could have people falling out here, and I would have like OSHA compliance. Like I would be out of regulation. So this is just gonna make me feel so much better if I have the build kind of like closed up. All right. Now I'm eyeballing it. This is, yeah, I'll probably have to do some adjustments. Go. So you can see though, like when you use the glass asset, it's solid. So once I put this here, I can't see in my little cool club anymore. So I'll put it up and then probably immediately like take it away just because that way I can see inside. All right. But there you go. I'm going to deploy this. I know, nobody talk about that part right there. We'll just pretend that doesn't exist. But like if you wanted to have, you could have your NFT art down here, and then you could have your club up here. Um, one more thing, the screen, because if you're gonna have a club, you have to have a screen. Um, the screen is in the smart items, and I will tell you that this is the screen, the video screen. But there's also, just to not be confused, if you go to the very bottom, there's this one and it's like deprecated, like it's dead. I don't know why they keep it there. But it's awesome that they just like canceled it. So make sure that you have this video screen. Um, go. It's really small when you put it in, so you're gonna have to get that scaled. And then yeah, remember we're testing early, testing often. One thing that, oh boy, okay, it's spawned in down here, so you got to make sure that you see the whole thing. There you go. So one thing that confuses me sometimes is when you first put it in, you can't see which side the screen is on. I'm assuming it's this side. It usually is. I'm usually right, but sometimes like if it's a big build and I start moving it around, I'm like, dang it, which way is which? Um, it's kind of a weird thing, but if I leave this build and then I go back into it, it should have the icon on it that'll tell you which way it's going to be. Yeah. So it doesn't have the icon, but this side is a little bit darker now, so it's probably correct. I'm going to throw it in my build really quick. I'm going to open the door, slide this in, and then where would our screen be? Actually, Rustan and me, we can go over here. We're just there to take up space. All right. I'm gonna rotate this. Almost. There we go. Okay, so technically, this is a club. Like it ain't pretty, but we made it in an hour. And if you needed to have an event, you could have an event. Um, on the screen, there's different settings. I'm not going to go into that today. I do want to keep things really simple, and I think that like getting your screen set up is probably a good subject for Dr. Crillo, who does the office hours. So like I'm getting help from Sinful to stream today. I think that there's more complexities. So as you're like going along and ready for that, I mean, reach out, like hit me up at the DM, and I can like help you find the right person to ask, or Dr. Crillo, Mr. J. They're awesome. Can get you started on that. So that is the scene. I'm going to publish. And one thing to mention, you do have the option when you're publishing to either publish to a world if you own your name. A name is a minted NFT. If I do that, I can go in here and you can see I do like my names. So I probably have more than I realized. But I could publish it to Roblox. Let's do that, guys. I could publish it to my world. It's going to go through the same options. It's going to tell you it's going to be 15 minutes. But if I'm also like, hey, I want to publish it to my land, I can go and I can publish it to my land. If I want to like populate Decentraland, I can be throwing this scene all over. I can be like, yeah, let's put it on the eastern seaboard. Let's put it over on the western seaboard. You can put it wherever you want. If you want to, if you suddenly are like, oh, I bought the parcel next to me. This is amazing. I have two pieces of land instead of one. You you have to like extend. You would have to go in and like make the scene a two-piece scene instead. So I think that is probably a good place to stop. If anybody has questions, I apologize. I haven't been able to like be in world in chat, so I'm gonna catch up with that. Or Fiddy, if you're still in here or have any
Yeah.
questions.
Thanks so much. That's pretty basic. I can I throw out some tips and tricks maybe, and then
Yeah,
you can tell
absolutely.
me because I like this. I taught a little bit too. I like to stimulate people's brains.
Yeah, nice.
Some people are slow and they wake up, and
Yeah,
um, so the scale of the pre-provided objects, the scale opens up like double, triple, quadruple the amount of objects because you can use something
yeah,
for something else. So a coffee mug, a cup can be like a engine on a rocket booster if you scale it up big enough, right? You
yeah,
can use a loaf of bread for your roof of your building if you wanted, because you can scale that object way up. So, there's that opens up huge options.
yeah.
And
And
then the
it's
other thing
fun. Like it's just like
that's fun too. Yeah.
yeah.
Can I ask you this? Is this maybe a workflow someone could do to get a club started? Could you just go? Because I worked with templates before. Can you go in put the club template in, and then delete everything except the screen, and then just build back around the screen or something? If you really like
Yeah, like if
using
you're
using someone's template to see how to build
oh yeah, for
is
sure.
one
Like
thing. So I might even load up one and then and start looking at all the pieces on the left. So and then I have an advanced question. Is there a way to make folders, put these on the left, all your objects into folders? Because I'm a
ooh,
Photoshop, originally a Photoshop, when you make a movie, you really got to organize your
yeah.
folders. Like you
That's
really
a
have
good
to rename
question.
and have you could make groups, like Photoshop has groups, and then but whatever, I can just go and select every object I want in a group, but with
Yeah.
folders you can
That
make groups. So
I'm not
anyway,
sure. I haven't used that and I'm way more like shoot from the hip than be that organized.
sure.
So I'm like, let's just start
All right.
something brand new. But I think
All
that'd
right.
be a good idea. Like if you um
That's just my mind what I got stimulated to
yeah,
play with
and in the
from
past you've
scratch.
been able to export the scene. Um it used to be right here. And I know last time I talked to Dr. Krillo, I was like, how do we do that? And I think that's where the conversation left off. Like I'm not sure if it's something where you can export the scene. But yeah, like if this
All right.
was your if you wanted to come in here and you're like, hey, cool hexagon, but that's not my vibe. I'm more like, bright pink. Or let's say this is yours and I'm like, hey, I want bright pink. I could just come in here.
Yeah.
Oops, where did it go?
So I'm just throwing out
Yeah.
there that you can load another template and throw things away and keep things
Yeah.
and start with a template but throw all their stuff out. So, anyway.
Yeah, and there's a few templates that Decentraland offers. We kind of looked at it at the
Yeah.
beginning, just like really quick. If you, this is the like my scenes section, and then if you go to templates, I think this one is common. It's a 4-piece template, so it's perfect. You can put it in a world, but if you have, I mean, most people starting out don't have 4 pieces of land to work with. So either a world or like if you've borrowed money or not borrowed money, borrowed land from somebody. I was looking at this one mansion. This is 10 by 10. This is huge. This is huge. This is huge. This one down
But you,
here, I believe is a 1-piece parcel, but I could not get it to load when I was trying to get that to work. So
so
I know,
a land that's like what's $30 for a land right now. A
yeah,
land, a name
a
that
name.
gives
Yeah,
you a world. Buying a name that gives you a world has a huge isn't the limit massive? Like
it
you can really
is. It is.
you
And I
can't
think
deploy it, but you can play around. You can play in a huge plot.
well, and
So
you can deploy it. So like if I
I'm
oh, okay, so I deployed this I deployed this
oh
to
you can
roblox.com. I'll do a different name. because that one's kind of different. Okay. How about tutorial? Thank gosh, Smart Canessa of the past actually minted the word tutorial. So now you can see, hopefully you can see this, to get there, you would just type in tutorial.dcl.eth in world, and then that will take you there. So like if you had a party on your world, you would just give people this. It could be like fiddy.dcl.eth, and they can just jump right there, and you are in, total control. You can put tons of stuff there. It's just like they're not going to find it on the map, like walking across the map. A really good way of thinking about it, Yamel had the kind of the ideas like that. Decentraland is a archipelago, which I love that word. It's just like a chain of islands. Decentraland is like the mainland, but then all the worlds are like these different islands. So it's basically like if you left Decentraland, the mainland of Decentraland, you'd go out to the islands out there. It'd be cool if you could actually see islands off of the ocean of Decentraland, but kind
Oh,
of
my
for me, like,
computer couldn't run it.
yeah, yeah, like putting it in that kind of terminology is like, oh, okay, that makes more sense. Or like for any other like UGC experience, there that kind of isolated experience is like totally how you would do it. It's actually that's more common than Decentraland where you're running around in world. Um, okay,
Okay.
I'm gonna try to go see it now. Um, oh, there's lots of people on land. Hello, hello. It told me it was deployed, so I did get a message that it's working. So I'm gonna jump down to where I deployed it and see if I can run in it. And this is where like um, test early, test often. Ah, you can see. Look at the pirate ship. So this was that first scene that we deployed at the very beginning, and it's facing the ocean, which is like what I was trying to do is see like, okay, is this facing the right way? Um, and then that is not the build I wanted. So maybe it's not deployed yet. Okay, maybe I'm tweaking out. This one is like the first version. I did do like a little test. So it's kind of cool when you start building. Ah, there it is. Okay. Nope, that's the other one. Okay, that's like version 2. So I think like take pictures of your work because as you go along, you're gonna see like, okay, this is version 1. Like I didn't know what I was doing. And then version 2 is gonna be like, on rocket fuel compared to the version 1. Okay, so let's see if no, I won't jump to there. I won't complicate it that much. I'll jump back to the cantina. Um, yeah, I think like get, for anybody just getting started, like don't be afraid to just get in there. You can't break it. Oh no, now Decentraland's not loading. Um, you can't break it. Like I I would be really careful. Like if you're gonna invest a lot of time, make sure you're constantly testing it. There are like there are things that will come along that will prevent you from having it work, like um the triangle limitations. You can get past that. Oh, see, now I hit the textures. Like this tiny little scene has 13 textures. Like thank goodness they still let me deploy. um but the one thing that I haven't found a go round is the amount of like size, like the megabytes for the scene. For Cantina, it's a big heavy scene. Um, and so let's see if I can go into it. There we go. So far I have not hit that like memory uh limitations with the cantina. And you could see things loading. So you could see there's a lot going on. There's textures, there's animations, there's just like there's a lot. But for the Mardi Gras build, I did, and that was like killer. Like I had worked so hard on that scene and I thought I was going to have to just cut it in half and then separate my land and then like deploy half of it on one piece and half on the other. Um, so yeah, I think for new users, you're not going to run into that. But as you go on, like there are different things that can surprise you like that. Um,
Every
yeah,
software has a little glitch. There's no perfect software out there, so to
yeah,
be expected. To be expected.
yeah. All right, let's see. There, I made it in world. So, I'm trying to do the tab thing. Sinful told me to do the tab, how to do it, and he's gonna be like, "I see you not doing the tab," and I'm gonna be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." All right. So yes. So, oh, that's weird. It's like running. Oh, I think I was in the builder too long, and now I'm like coming into Decentraland, like hitting the little yeah, the controls. Oh, Sin, you see me doing it, don't you? Because I'm like trying not to minimize the page, but then I'm out of habit, I'm doing it. So he's gonna be laughing at me so hard, you guys, behind the scenes. Uh, so yeah, okay, so it's on Decentraland. Yeah, like I guess now if there's any questions in world, you're welcome to ask. Otherwise, I will probably wrap it up soon. And like my hope each week is that we can build on the skills that we have. Also, like it's good just to do like an hour on Tuesday. Your homework assignment, friends, for yes, I'm a teacher. Your homework for tomorrow is to get into the builder and build. And then on Thursday, there's office hours with Mr. Crillo or Dr. Crillo. Sorry, Dr. Crillo. And then Lastrom is also hosting a build event. I think his is going to be a bit more like focused toward gaming. Um, but I think the best way for the brain to work is get the instruction, go play around on your own, and then if you have questions, like this might have brought up questions like that I can't answer that you guys like now you have a question about it. Ask Dr. Crillo and he can a lot of times he's looking for people to give him topics to like study or to go over on Thursday. So if you're like, "Hey, Canessa, I didn't even realize that those smart items were there and like how do I get those to work? Those looked really cool." I'll just be honest, I haven't dabbled in those much, and if it was me, I'd be asking Dr. Krillo. So um, sometimes he has like an idea of what he's going to go over, but if you have something that you want to, definitely ask him. Yeah, otherwise, thank you so much for being here. I'm not sure if this is the screen is changing. It is for me, but let's see. Okay. Um, yeah. Yeah, otherwise, if nobody has any other questions, I'm going to just have this. Hopefully, if everything goes well, it's going to be on my YouTube. I want to keep making these videos. Um, like, I quit building in Decentraland in 2019. Like, I quit before before you could even walk in the world. I was like, I can't do this. I can't, like, my land was a funky shape, so I couldn't deploy on it. Um, and because I couldn't do that, I couldn't get past the builder because of the triangle limitations. And I tried learning code. Like I was by myself. Like I didn't, there was no community to find. Like there was a community in Discord. I think there were people in Discord, but it wasn't like this where I didn't know anybody, didn't know Rustan, didn't know anybody to ask for help. Um, and so I like stopped building into Decentraland. I came back in 2020, and then dabbled a little bit, but it was the same thing. Like I can't get over these triangle limitations, and I don't know how to do Blender. Like I'm, kind of feeling like I'm not smart enough, and so I don't want anyone to feel like that, and I don't want anyone to quit because they're like they can't build their dream. Um, so yeah, whatever your dream is, like if you need help, ask me. I'm gonna throw out like Rustan. This is like basically regurgitating everything that Rustan taught me, and then KJ Walker also. So that's why I called it Build It Forward also, because like it's like pay it forward. Like Rustan and KJ helped me so much that I want to like now it's my turn to help. So yeah, everything Rustan's a goat. Um, but yeah, thank you guys so much for being here today. I'll be in world if anybody has questions. And then if there's questions, we can just throw them on like next week. I plan on like next week we'll build from this. And eventually I want to go to Blender. Blender is like the answer to all of my questions of like I can't build, I don't know how to code. I don't code. Nothing in this build in the cantina is code. I love like that people can do it, but I do like finding ulterior ways to figure stuff out. And you don't need to code to like make some cool stuff.